Welcome back, Gadgeteers. As you can see, I'm still alive. I want to apologize for not doing a video for the past year. Essentially, I decided to take some time off, and I can't say that it was really all that much helpful, maybe less than helpful. I got involved in doing some fun stuff. I was selling comic books. Well, I had a comic collection that I wanted to sell for myself, and then I asked my brother-in-law if he wanted me to sell his, and a friend of mine, and I started selling a lot of comics and doing pretty good financially. As far as, okay, it's not really that great financially. Nobody could live on it, but it's a little extra money. And I think the enjoyment of the fact that you have to, there's so many little details in pricing and setting it up and rating the comic, packaging, which Felicia does most of, and it's perfect, of course. So I've been doing that for the last probably about 6 months now. But you're probably wondering, how am I feeling? You know, I would say I'm all right. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I've been far worse. So actually not too bad. I've had a couple of scares, but they've been really minor. And I just do what I got to do to just, take it in stride and ignore it. I did do counseling, it was last year, and I'm really glad I did it. The counseling was for PTSD. If those of you, the people who have just stumbled on this video probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so I have a genetic heart defect. And basically what it does is it causes your heart wall, the muscle wall, to harden and thicken, which of course your heart has to work harder, and it distresses the heart so it becomes enlarged and eventually fails. Well, mine got to that point, and I'm still alive through the grace of this bag right here, which is an LVAD, a left ventricle assist device. So what it's doing with batteries and a controller computer inside here is basically shooting the blood through my left ventricle. So I have a cable that goes into my stomach, and I have a device. It's a little pump basically, and that little pump is shooting the blood through my heart because my heart can't do it by itself. And I really like it because I feel better. Before I got it, I thought it was going to be something that I would really hate, but honestly, I forget all about it. As a matter of fact, before I started this video, I had to change out the batteries. So let's see if you can see this. This battery was really close to running out of energy. Well, it doesn't really run out of energy. It's more like it's low enough that I will get an alarm telling me to replace the batteries. No big deal. If I notice that, I can actually replace them beforehand so we don't have alarms going off in the middle of us talking. So what I have is called dilated cardiomyopathy, and you may hear that in your lifetime, and I hope not. The type I have is most likely non-compaction, and there really isn't a fix for it except for a heart transplant. So I've got some work to do. I actually am off the heart transplant list right now. I got to lose a little bit of weight. They have a limit of 250 pounds, so you can't be heavier than 250 pounds. And I got quite a lot of winter fat I need to take care of, so I got to work on that. But I have to say, things have been going pretty well. I've been hanging out with my family. I have two grandsons now, which, oh my God, they're so cute. One's 2 years old, and one is going to be 1 year old coming up here. Time flies so fast. It's just amazing. I think I was in the hospital in 2020 when my first grandson was born, or I was home and convalescing, which took a long time from the surgery to have the LVAD. I guess the point of this video is just to let you know I'm still alive, and I want to thank the people who contacted me from my YouTube channel. I really appreciated that. I'm sure, as you can imagine, my curiosity with technology is unquenchable, so it took some time, but it slowly started to come back, and my wife helped me get the desktop set up, and that's where I am right now. So I've been using it to process comics, just about anything that a computer requires. I do have a laptop, but it's less efficient. I've got 3 monitors on this computer, which I really like. And with all that, it makes more sense to do work in here, especially if I'm going to be doing videos. Speaking of which, this video is an experiment. I'm actually shooting it in 4K. You might say, that doesn't make any sense. Well, in some ways it doesn't, because I only have my monitor set for 1920 by 1080. So they're in high definition, but that's it. But the camera is 4K, so I thought I'd do an experiment. So if you see any cuts or jaggies or tears or anything like that in the video, that's probably what it is. Alright, what else do I have for you? Will I be shooting more videos? I really hope so. It's hard to stay away from technology, and every time I do something technological, I think, man, I gotta shoot a video on this. They'll love this. So one of the things I've been doing is working on finding tools to monitor power consumption, power usage, temperature of my CPU and my graphics card. And of course, there aren't as many tools in Linux as there are in Windows. And the two that I found are command line. So I want to do a video on that and let you see what I'm using. I did an upgrade from Fedora 32, pretty old. Powered up this computer and it was on Fedora 32, so I hadn't touched it in quite some time, and I decided to do an update, and I used the graphical interface, the software center. Anybody who uses Linux will know what that is. It's basically an app store, but one of the things that lets you do is update your operating system. So it allowed me to go to Fedora 34, but not 35. So I got to Fedora 34, I rebooted the computer, and I can now update to Fedora 35. And again, I went through all that and I thought, oh, I should have made a video on this so I can show him what I was doing. I did take some pictures, so I'll have a separate video on that. And I'll also take some video when I'm upgrading from Fedora 34 to Fedora 35. And of course, Fedora 36 is coming out soon. The other thing I was doing is helping a couple nephews work on a computer build. So we're, basically putting parts together on paper to see what it would cost. And I suggested to them that they wait, because the graphics card, the GPU, is still exorbitantly expensive. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. You have to buy a 7 or 8 year old graphics card for $200 or $300. That's outrageous. So I suggested they wait. So we're monitoring pricing, but everything else on the computer actually isn't that expensive. I thought about using an APU, an all-in-one processing unit that has graphics inside the processor. The AMD Ryzen 5700G, I believe it is an interesting processor, but one of my nephews wants to stream at the same time as play games, and I really don't think the 5700 has the moxie to do that, the processor. So we're kind of waiting to see if those prices continue to drop. Surprisingly enough, we got the price of a pretty decent looking computer, which I'm going to make a separate video on, but we got it down to about $1,300, and that includes a $400 graphics card and pretty decent motherboard, processor, memory, and so on. So you can still make a computer for a decent price. It's just, it should be $1,000 or less. And until the graphics card market levels out, and probably most of you know, the whole graphics card thing, why are they so expensive? A lot of miners of Ethereum, which is a type of Bitcoin, have been buying cards, and when they buy the graphics cards to do the mining, which is of course a process, so you have to have more ability, more compute power, and unfortunately they don't buy one card. I saw one picture where this guy had a farm and there were hundreds upon hundreds of cards in there. So the price is in flux. It really depends on what happens. If money doesn't come out of Ethereum, we may see the market have a glut of video cards, some which will be used, which I'm fine with that. But you have to be careful, make sure they're not completely wasted and wore out. So I think I've won over pretty much everything that's going on. Things are relatively stable. I do hope to be making more videos. I almost can't stand it when I don't, because I come across something that's techie and I think, my viewers would love this. I gotta tell them. So I want to come back. I'm going, as long as I'm not too tired, I'm going to try and make more videos. A lot of them might be talking head videos. Apologies, because of the physical energy that I have available. And we'll go from there. Thank you again for your comments and your concerns. I hope this video finds you well, and we will talk again.